All right, we will get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our, July virtual cooking class. My team and I, the Mixmasters, put on these classes for you every month. And this month we are bringing you a desserts class just for something a little bit different to what we've been doing recently. We thought this would be a bit of fun and, yeah, something a little bit different for you guys to see and learn about. So we hope you enjoy it. For those of you who I haven't met before, my name is Erin O'Brien. I'm a Thermomix consultant and team leader based in Druin in Victoria. But thanks to the amazing virtual world, I'm selling and supporting my customers all over Australia, as well as having a team with consultants from all over Australia as well, which is really amazing. So Jess and I are going to cook for you tonight. We've got an amazing menu planned. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I would ask if you could stay on mute for us during the class, but if you do have any questions, please pop them in the chat box. We are all here. There's a few other consultants in the chat box too that will help answer any questions as we are going. But yeah, we hope you enjoy it. Before we get started, maybe you could let me know in the chat box, do you own a Thermomix? And if you do, what model do you have? Do you have the TM6, the current model, the TM5, the TM31, or maybe you've been lucky enough to get your hands on the brand new limited edition Sparkling Black, which is this one that you can see here. So both Jess and I have been lucky enough to earn one as consultants, so we'll be using those tonight, as well as our beautiful classic white too. But we will get started. So tonight, to start with, I am going to get us going with some profiteroles. So I might start with my black. So I'm going to go up into my wick. Probably better to do from the start. Has anyone made profiteroles before, or eclairs, anything with that choux pastry? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. So I'm going to select our recipe there. Again, like always, we can scroll down if we want to. There's quite a few different hints and tips on this recipe. So if you are going to make it at home, I recommend you scroll down and read those. But for now, I'm just going to hit start cooking. I picked this recipe tonight because I think it is one. I'm just going to move my white out of the way just to get this bit so I can see better. Because I think it's a recipe that everyone thinks is a lot harder than what it is. It sounds a bit scary, but I promise you, as you're about to see, it's really not. So in there, we're going to put 150 grams of water. So obviously on our TM6 now scales are accurate to 1 gram, so we're just watching it here. Next, 80 grams of butter, unsalted and cut into pieces. So I've just got that just roughly chopped up there. Next again, a pinch of salt. Next again, 2 teaspoons of sugar, or about 10 grams. Next again, and now we're going to pop the lid on, and we're just going to take the measuring cup off. It's just telling us, and to pop the simmering basket on the top. So and then obviously next once more, and now it's got it set for us. So it's got 5 minutes, 100 degrees and speed 1. Just before we head on over to Jess, I just want to show you, so the second step of this recipe, I'm going to keep doing while Jess is cooking because it's super simple, and then we can just keep moving. So if I go to preview now in the top right hand corner, I can see the next couple of steps. So after this 5 minutes of cooking time, I'm just going to add 120 grams of plain flour, and that's it. And then I'm going to continue cooking for another, we're going to combine that for 20 seconds on, I think it's speed 4 from memory, something out there because it's already in motion. So after that, then I would just let that mixture cool for 10 minutes. So whilst Jess is cooking, after this 5 minutes, I'll add that flour, combine it, and then let it cool. And I will see you after Jess is cooking.
Hi everyone. So yep, as Erin said, I'm Jess. I'm based in Canova, so not very close to Erin, but we've been in a team together for a long time now. I'm at Thermolife on the Farm on socials, and tonight I am going to start off by making a delicious lemon pudding. As Erin said, I was lucky enough to earn the sparkling black as well. So I'm going to use this one tonight. First step is to preheat my oven. I've done that. And then to grease a cast iron pot. I don't have one of those, but I've got a baking dish that I'm going to use. And then go on. So I need 200 grams of caster sugar. So does anyone else like lemon delicious? I know this is definitely a favorite with my husband. This is like his favorite dessert, which wasn't even actually what I was meant to be cooking tonight, but I don't think he'll complain. All right, that's 200 grams there. And then we needed the peel of 2 lemons. So I've already done that here. I've just used the peeler and taken it off. I'll just pop that straight in. Press next. And now we're just going to mill that up for 10 seconds on speed 10. So that's actually it's probably gonna block me out. It's going to use the full force of the Thermomix now. All right. You're looking there, we've got a beautiful like lemon sugar. So I'll just pop that into a bowl. Smells delicious, so lemony fresh. Okay. Wow. All right, now we're going into 120 grams of butter. Always remember when you're pulling the bowl out to just re-tee your scales. Pop this straight in. Is everyone cooking desserts at the moment? Are you a dessert lover? Or someone in your family? All right, so now we're just going to melt that for the 2 minutes. So what does everyone think of the sparkling black? Have you all seen it on socials and that at the moment? It's beautiful texture on the outside. It looks so different to the white, I think, but I like it. It definitely looks better in person, I can guarantee you that. So we've got it's in the chat box. Yeah, a lot of dessert levels, that's good. That's really good. Well, hopefully we can give you some ideas, some new things to try. As you can see, this is just melting the butter. We can look ahead with the preview button, and over next we're going to add in some milk, some eggs, and keep. So if I didn't already have that out, I could start getting out those ingredients now. A nice little way to keep you cooking a little bit faster and being a bit more efficient. When I'm cooking at home, normally I don't have everything out ready. So it is a good way to be able to get ahead and get things out. So it's just 30 seconds to go. You can see in this middle dial here, we've got 80 degrees is what we're getting to, and there's a tiny little number in the middle there at the top, and that tells you what temperature the bowl is actually at the moment. So I can see here about 15 seconds ago, it actually hit the 80 degrees. So that is the target temperature we were going for. That's really great if you're making yogurt or you're making bread or anything like that where you have to keep testing the temperature. You can always just check that little dial there. Right. So you can see there we've perfectly melted our butter. And now we'll go on and pop in the milk. So 250 grams of milk. Again, I always just go a little bit slower when I'm doing liquid, just to make sure I don't go over. It just takes a little bit for the scales to catch up. All right, 2 eggs. So I'd already cracked them into a cup. Being on a farm and having a farm fresh eggs, I never trust them. 250 grams of self-raising flour. Here. All right, pop that in. 2 pinches of sea salt. With salt, it's always optional if you want to put it in or not. Now we're going to put in our reserved lemon sugar that I had here that I did first. Pop all that in. And now we're just going to mix it all up. All right. We're just going to scrape down the sides and we'll mix it up again. So it has mixed fairly well. I'll just show you there. But we'll just scrape down the sides and ensure that we've got it all beautifully mixed. For another 3 seconds. Done. Okay, so now I'll pour the batter into the dish. As I said, I don't have a cast iron dish, but I'm just going to use this baking dish here. Just pour that in. Try to scrape it all out. All right. Okay, so now we're going to clean and dry the mixing bowl. So, who's got more than one bowl? They are a lifesaver. So we'll just pop in the next bowl and press next. So we need 500 grams of milk. Second bowl is always a lifesaver. Perfect. All right, so now what we're going to do is just heat that milk there to 60 degrees. So while it's heating, I'll just show you, if you can see, my Thermomix here sitting on the slider board. You can see there. So at the moment, when you purchase the black, you do actually get the slider board free with it, and you can move it around your bench easily without affecting the scales. It actually also helps the Thermomix stay in place when you're kneading, because you'll find that when you're kneading, the Thermomix is designed to move around. However, with the slider board, it actually keeps it in place and is much better, and is perfect for if you need to move it around around your bench. It does just protect your scales, even if it sits in the one place anyway. So I find it really handy. I've got a white one under my white Thermomix, and then I did get a black one to go into my black Thermomix. I couldn't bring myself to have a black Thermomix and a white board. That wouldn't sit well with me. So, but also too, at the moment, if you purchase the sparkling black, you get the slider board and a $140 mix shop voucher. So that would be perfect to get you started with a lot of other great accessories that you can get. And when you do have your delivery demo as well, you could throw in a 20% off gift voucher too. So many reasons to get a Thermomix at the moment. Now so we can see here, as I was saying before, we're up to 50 degrees. So nearly at the 60. We've still got about a minute 20 to go. We'll just skip ahead. We'll be adding in sugar. We're now making the sauce to go over the pudding. So for anyone who knows lemon delicious or like a lemon pudding, we're going to have the pudding base that we've got at the moment. And now we're making the really rich lemony sauce to go on top, which will be delicious.
Has anyone made this recipe before? Pop in the chat box and let us know. I've made it. It is delicious. I love lemon desserts. Do you like lemon desserts, Jess?
Yeah, I don't mind them. And I know my husband loves this one, except I've never actually made this recipe before. I've got a really good habit of making, doing things on these demos that I've never made before. So,
well, you will not regret this one. It's amazing. If anyone hasn't tried it, add this one to your cookie do to try list. It's amazing.
Everything already smells delicious.
So those of you who are just joining us, Jess is making the lemon delicious pudding off cookie do. I have started the profiteroles, which are just having a little bit of cooling time, and then they'll be ready to go again in a second once Jess is finished.
All right, so now I'm going to add in the pasta sugar. Again, always make sure you tare your scales. The first place you'll go wrong. There we go. Tablespoon of corn flour. Put that in. 200 grams of freshly squeezed lemon juice. So it says to use 4 lemons. Well, I only had 2 lemons, and I was going to substitute it with bought the lemon juice out of a bottle. However, I think 2 lemons was enough. I pre-measured it. Yep, perfect. We'll pop the lid back on. And now we're just going to mix all this up. Okay, so now it's time to gently pour the sauce over the back of a spoon on top of the batter. Let's move my camera down a little bit there. You can see here, it's a beautiful, creamy looking sauce. I'm just going to pour it in like this. So it goes over the back of the spoon so that you're not going to put a big dent in where the liquid falls in over your butter, and it just spreads it evenly. Go. And now we're just going to bake it for 40 minutes. So I'll pop that straight in the oven and we'll come back when it's done. Back over to you, Erin.
Amazing. Thanks, Jess. I'm looking forward to seeing that one finished. All right. So like I mentioned before, I did that next step of just adding that 120 grams, I think it was from memory, of flour, and then just combining that for 30 seconds. And now we've just got kind of a bit like a bit of a dough kind of consistency in there. So that's just been cooling for the last 10 minutes, which is the next step. I've got my oven preheated to 200. I've got my baking tray ready to go. And now it's just telling us to pop the lid on and turn the speed selector to 5. And then it says, meanwhile, follow the following steps. So I'll go to 5. Adding 1 egg at a time. All right, so it just says after you've added the third egg, you can stop it. So you can either turn the speed selector back down to 0, or just by pressing the speed selector, you will stop that. So then next again, so it's just telling us to insert the measuring cup, popping the lid back on again, and now we've just got 30 seconds on speed 5 once more just to finish combining that. So there really isn't much to the sugar profiteroles. So again, you can use these for this recipe for profiteroles. It's exactly the same for eclairs and that kind of thing as well. It's just how you pipe it that works out differently. So that is it. And that is kind of our dough, which is kind of a real sticky. Hopefully you can see that all right there. So I've just got a disposable piping bag. It's actually just sitting in an old NutriBullet jar thing. This is only, we got rid of our NutriBullet a while back because, you know, we never used stuff using thermo, but I kept this because it's nice and tall and so handy for putting piping bags in. You can just use a jar or something like that to hold your piping bag up. So much easier than trying to fiddle it in without using anything. And then you don't need a fancy nozzle or anything for this one because you're just going to pipe in just like little, what's the word it uses? Just walnut balls, walnut size. So just pushing that kind of down towards the bottom, and I'll just cut the tip off. So if you didn't have piping bags, you could just use a freezer bag or something like that as well. So I've just cut the tip off that. And then I'm literally just going to pipe out little balls on the tray. And that's it. That's as much as there is to the profiteroles as far as hands-on time. Now we're just going to bake them. Was it 200 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. And then after that 20 minutes, you are just going to turn your oven off and just leave the door ajar just for 10 minutes more, just to kind of dry them out a little bit. So I'll just pop these in the oven for now, but I might use the rest. I might pipe some eclairs and things as well that you could be able to check out on my social media tomorrow. All right, so I'll pop these in the oven for 20 minutes. Yeah, remember to set a timer. I'm very bad at setting timers in classes. And then wonder why I overdo stuff. All right, so that is it. That's our profiteroles done. Jess, are you ready to come back for the fondants or?
Yep, I can go again.
Cool. All right, we're going to head back to Jess and she's going to get our fondants cooking.
Okay, so this time I'm going to make chocolate fondants as well. So I'll just show you here, go to my week, and I've already planned out all the recipes. So this was the chocolate fondants here. Now, if anyone is going to be looking for this recipe, make sure that you have your filters on cookie dough, that it's English selected and not Australian, because it's actually I think, American recipe. So this is just asking if I want to start a new recipe and I've got to get out of my other one. So I'm just going to say yes. And now we're in here. Now, what I'm also going to do is along here to the serving sizes. Now, because I'm already making lemon delicious, we don't actually need a full recipe of these as well. We'll be eating dessert for days. So I'm actually going to change the portion size back down to 4. We don't need 6 serves, sorry. We're just going to go with 4. So if I then go apply, it will now automatically change all the ingredients in the recipe and only make the 4 serves. which is really handy. So if you're making anything in Quick Do at the moment, and if it's too big or anything like that, you can always click on that serving size and you can drop the serving size, or some of the recipes you can actually increase it as well. So now if we go start cooking, so you'll see that all the measurements in this, I have to go a lot slower, are all in ounces because it's an American one, and it's got to preheat my oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. So I did have to Google the translation there, and it's about 220 degrees. So we're going to grease 4 ramekins. So I am going to use the Dariel molds from the mix shop. You can use other size ramekins as well, anything that you've got handy. And now we need to put in 4.5 ounces of sugar. So you'll see here the Thermomix scales automatically change to imperial from metric just for this recipe. So I can just measure in like I would normally, however a bit slower, because I actually have no idea how much this is going to be. And it's measuring up in ounces there. So yep, there we go, 4.5 ounces. Now I'm going to put the lid on and go around to speed 10 again for 10 seconds. Now you see after the 10 seconds, we've got ice and sugar, or like this recipe likes to call it, confectioner's sugar. I'll just pop that in another bowl. There we go. Now we need 2.5 ounces of dark chocolate, and it says 70% cocoa minimum. I am just using these Cadbury dark melts, so they're not 70%, but I think they're about 40%. Okay, perfect. And 2 ounces of butter. Yep. All right. Oh. Got ahead of myself. So this recipe is now going to use the turbo function. So as you saw, I got ahead of myself and I pressed next before putting the lid on. And a safety function with the turbo mode is that the arms automatically lock in as soon as you go into turbo mode, because you are using the full force of the Thermomix. So this will be really loud, but we're just going to do 2 1-second bursts on turbo. Done. So you'll see in here that really blitzed up the chocolate and the butter. So that's just going to make it melt quicker and easier on here. So we'll just scrape all that down. A fair bit flies up the sides because the blades go so far. And now we're going to melt that for 2 minutes. Has anyone made these before? So these are also known as like a chocolate lava cake. I did a bit of a test run earlier because, again, I hadn't made them before. And I can guarantee they are very delicious, very rich, but really yum. So what desserts are people making in the Thermomix at the moment? I know another favorite of ours in our house is chocolate custard. Everyone thinks I've done something amazing and all I've really done is used up the milk that needed to be used up in the fridge or something like that. I ate banana bread. That's delicious and so easy in the Thermomix. I did see someone also put, I've got a toddler and that who eats half a banana and then leaves them, that you freeze the half bananas and that your kids don't eat and then whip them all out to make banana bread. So I thought that was a very good idea. Stops the waste of the bananas. What else have we got in there? Oh, instant ice cream. I think I've made instant ice cream. I made Fruity Dream. We love that. That's so easy and yum. And our self-saucing puddings, yeah, they're delicious. I do like self-saucing pudding, especially the caramel one. If you haven't made that yet, that is a good one. It's probably a good thing I don't make too many desserts in this. We could definitely eat a lot more than I do. All right, so that is nearly done. I'll have a look. So you see there, it is started, but there are still some chunks in there to melt. So we're going to scrape down the sides. And we're going to melt again for another 30 seconds. Just to ensure that it's all evenly melted in there. Oh, pineapple upside down cake. That sounds good. Sticky dates are really good. I do like the sticky dates that you can make in the Thermomix. Yeah, I know there's so many different desserts I can add to my list to try now. All right. All right, so that still has a tiny little bit still to melt. So I might actually just quickly put it on for maybe another 20 seconds. It is a fairly cold night, so the butter wasn't as melted as as soft as I would have hoped. So I'll just press back and you can redo that step again. So I'm just going to do it for the next 30 seconds, just to ensure that it is fully melted in there. Now, if we go on, you can see that we need 1.5 ounces of cake flour. So I had to Google that as well, because it's not an Australian thing generally that they talk about. So cake flour, they did say, was like you could make your own by using plain flour with a little bit of corn flour. When I made this earlier, I didn't bother. I just used plain flour and it worked perfectly. So I'm just going to do that again. But you can, it's just using a flour that has a little bit more protein in it. So that's all perfectly melted now. I'll get my plain flour. And we're just going to put in 1.5 ounces. There we go. All right, so you also need 1 large egg. And you need an egg yolk. So I've just got them both in there now. So I'll show you the next one is an egg yolk from a large egg. So I'll just put them both in. That's next. Now we're just going to add in the reserved sugar. Next. And now we're just going to mix it all up. Now I'm just going to scrape down the sides. As you can see, as it mixed, it through a fair bit of the sugar and flour up the sides. So just scrape that all back down. And now it'll just mix for another 10 seconds. Now it's just scrape down again. This is just to ensure it's a really soft and perfectly mixed batter, I suppose you would call it. And now another 5 seconds. Okay, so now we're going to transfer the butter into the ramekins. So watch me make a big mess as I do this. So you can see in there, that's the beautiful butter we've got. Doesn't look pretty, but just need to pour them in roughly the top. So as I said, you can use other ramekins for this. You don't have to use the molds from the mix shop. It would just depend how you want to eat them. The idea with these ones is that you would be able to tip them out onto a serving plate. But if you use the other ramekins I used earlier, I tried doing that with them and that wasn't going to work. You would just eat them out of that, but they still had the gooey chocolate inside, which was delicious. All right, so I haven't done them very even, but that won't matter too much. And then they just have to bake for 13 minutes. So you can see here, I've got them in there like that, and I'll just pop that in the oven now for 13 minutes and it'll be done. So nice and quick and easy.
Awesome, thanks Jess. That's super easy, isn't it? For a pretty delicious dessert. All right, so I've got 2 more quick desserts that are going to finish us off tonight. First of all, I am going to make a burnt basque, I think is how you say it, I'm not actually sure. Cheesecake, has anyone made one of those before? Again, another cookie do recipe. So I'm going to go into our week. I just love how with desserts it's so super easy using guided cooking that you can look like a master chef really by making some pretty impressive desserts quickly and easily. So the one I'm making is the Danny Valence Basque cheesecake. So again, like always, read down if you want to. We're just going to hit start cooking. We've already got our oven preheating and I've got a springform tin lined and ready to go. So for this recipe, I'm actually going to halve it as well tonight because I did pre-bake one, which I'll show you afterwards, obviously because it needs a little bit of baking time. So just to make our timing work for tonight, so I halved it, made half earlier and half now because I don't need 2 giant cheesecakes in my life. All right, so into there says 7 eggs. I'm going to go with 3 just because I did find some reviews online of this that said that it was a little bit eggy. So I was trying to decide whether 3 or 4 for halving. So I did 3 and they were quite big eggs too. So up to you. If you want to halve it, you can do 3 or 4. And there's another Basque cheesecake on Cookie that uses 6 and then 3 if it was halving. So that's kind of what helped me decide which way to go with that. So now I've got 20 seconds on speed 4. So kind of giving that a bit of a whisk up and mix together, just like you would if you were doing it with a fork or a whisk manually. The chat box. Does anybody have any questions as we're going so far? Tell me now that you can see the black and the white side by side. What do you guys prefer? Even if you've already got one, but it doesn't really matter to you. Do you like the black or prefer the classic white? Let us know in the chat box what you think. Right, and into there it says 1,000 grams of cream cheese cut into pieces. But like I said, we're halving, so we're just going to do 500. I will show you how we can stuff those eggs a little bit there. If you can see that without me tipping out. So this would make, it told us to grease a 23 centimetre springform tin. So it would make quite a big cheesecake, as you'll see by the one I've made afterwards. So good if you're entertaining this one, perfect for, you know, as we come back towards the warmer months and we're getting out to social functions a bit more, which I'm sure we all can't wait for. It's a perfect one to take to a friend's house or something like that. Anyone making cheesecakes or have you made this one or any other different cheesecakes? There's so many Thermomix cheesecake recipes out there. It's crazy, but there's some delicious ones. I've made one of my favourite ones that I've made previously is a Toblerone cheesecake. That was delicious. Pop in the chat box and let us know what's your favourite cheesecake recipe. Right, we're going to pop the lid back on again. Next, and now I've got 30 seconds on speed 5. So again, combine that. Oh, I just love a lemon cheesecake, just the classic shell. I used to make a baked cheesecake back years and years ago pre-Thermomix, so it was a lot more to it, a lot more effort involved, that's for sure. So much quicker and easier now. All right, oops, double next to there. So I'm just going to use, I pressed the next twice too quickly, so I'm just going to use the back button to go backwards and make sure I don't miss anything. So it's just telling me to scrape down the side. So I'll show you what I've done there. So I've combined that cream cheese and egg. We're just going to give that a scrape down, pushing all of it back down towards the blades. Just giving it a really smooth consistency so far. Next, we're popping the lid back on again. Next again, another 30 seconds on speed 5. Anyone else making cheesecake? Or is it not something you've tried before? Something you thought was too hard maybe? There are so many different dessert recipes out there. We can get a bit carried away sometimes. I love my desserts. All right, next again. So that is again that all combined up there. So they're now 350 grams of white sugar, but we are halving it. I'm just going to check those profiteroles quickly so you can weigh me. They're all done already. Sugar. So we're just going to do, so we're halving that, so 175 grams of sugar. Obviously, we're not here for a healthy recipes, so taking the lid off. So this time it's just telling us to take our measuring cup out and insert our spatula in the top just to help give it a little bit of a guide around. So just going to pop that in the top there. And now it's got it set for 1 minute, turn the speed selector to 5. See the super next video option as well. So as part of the video option, you see upgrades dates available all the time. So you guys might have your ones where we're getting the pastries and things like that. Right, so into there now we're going to place some cream. So again, 500 grams of halving. Tearing those scales there, I took the lid off. So hopefully you guys have seen or heard from your consultant or seen on social media that we've just had a new limited time host reward offer be released. So from now until the end of August, if you host your own cooking experience, whether it be virtual, in home, or even inviting friends to one of these demos, if one of your friends, your guests, then purchases a Thermomix in the 2 weeks following, you can choose 12 months free cookie dough as your host reward, which is really exciting. So yeah, obviously gives you opportunity to grab that for free. So after that cream, 30 seconds again on speed 5. So yes, that host reward is available for the end of August. So if you are interested, please reach out to your consultant or to one. So many amazing things happening. So many great offers. Obviously, we've got our sparkling edition. That at the moment is on sale till about August 10th or until sold out. And like I said, our offers for purchase at the moment are a free glider board that matches your Thermomix. So white with a white, black with a black, and $140 mixture voucher. You also have 36 months interest free running, and now the cookie dough host reward as well. So lots of amazing things happening. We're celebrating Warwick, which is the manufacturer of Thermomix, their 140th anniversary this month. So that's why we've got our limited edition black and so many great offers. It's kind of a celebration month for Thermomix, which is a bit fun. So we're just giving that a scrape down, lid back on once more, and another 30 seconds on speed 5. The other really fun thing that's happening at the moment is consultants like ourselves are doing events to learn after our black Thermomix and the events around the new Warwick vacuum that's coming in the 7. So it's a new upgraded model, and we're working towards that and some friends doing it as well. So still lots of time to earn it too. So if anyone's interested in joining our team, do what we do. We would love to chat to you about that. Again, reach out to a consultant, or we're happy to stay on afterwards, answer any questions at any stage. We would love to have you as part of our team. And each day we're going to place 30 grams of plain flour. So tearing once more. And now we've just got 2 minutes on speed 5. So while that's going on, I'm actually going to get our milo restart too. Back to the side. I've made milo rest before. This recipe, thank you later for this one because it's amazing. So actually from the recipe community. It's the most delicious recipe. So I've actually imported this recipe. Again, one of the amazing features of cooking is we can import recipes from the recipe community. My recipe system. That's not slightly different to what an actual cookie dough recipe would look. I made this one before. I'm sure this is probably a few of you in the chat box. So to start with.
It's just a little bit hard to hear, Erin, over your other Thermomix. You're cutting in and out.
Can you not hear me?
Oh, that's better. But yeah, you're cutting in and out with your other Thermomix going.
Step away from the other one. So into there, we are going to place. Let me press the scales. 100 grams of, it says dark chocolate chips, but I'm just using milk chocolate, that's just my preference. And then we are going to do that, and then we are going to put them up 5 seconds on speed 7. So this will be noisy, Zoom will just mute me for a minute. Lifting it away. Just add that one, and then we're just going to set those aside. So they're just all of our chocolate chips, just kind of chopped right up there. So just popping those into a bowl. Next step is we're then going to place our butterfly in. So obviously that comes with our Thermomix. And then we're going to add our cream, Milo, cocoa, and sugar. So I'm just going to go down to this scales button at the bottom, and that will line up all of our ingredients. So I just need to grab another bottle of cream out. So we've got 600 grams of thickened cream. So just popping that all straight in there. And then we've got 6 heaped teaspoons of Milo. I've just already popped them in a bowl there, so I'm just going to throw all that in. 6 heaped tablespoons, I should have said, sorry, and 2 tablespoons of cocoa, which again are all ready to go. And then 2 tablespoons of sugar. So just popping all that straight in there, mixing out, and now we're going to mix that on 20 seconds on speed 4. So just going down to our blades, and that's set for us. So if we can hear that change in the sound of that cream whipping up there towards the end. I'll show you where we're at. So just hitting the next, and now it's just telling us, it shows you there. So that's where we're at so far, just in that 20 seconds. Now we're just going to add that chocolate chips back in. But it's just flying everywhere here. And Milo apparently. It is carrying, isn't it? I know. I was actually reading full recipe. I've made that many times that I don't read the comments and stuff before, and it said then after making it, you should place it in the fridge for an hour or so to thicken. And I thought, oh God, doesn't often make the fridge here. So adding the bleached chocolate back up and then beating it for another 10 seconds on speed 4. Go back into my blades. You just want to keep an eye on it here. So if you cream is not overbeat it here. I've never had a problem personally, but I have had some people or heard of some people that have. If your cream is closer to its use by date, it's going to whip up a lot quicker. And you don't really want Milo butter. Well, you might, but I think you prefer the Milo OS. So just keep a little close eye on it and stop it if need be. But that quickly, that is our Milo mousse done. How good does that look? Absolutely delicious. So the Milo mousse is done. And then after that 2 minutes of beating, our cheesecake mixture is done. So I'm just going to grab my springform tin. So I've just got that lined, and because I've just halved the recipe, I'm using the 20 centimetre, it's the rose gold one from the mix shop. So it's just that bit small, so I just still get a nice thick or high cheesecake than if I used the 23 centimetre one that the recipe called for. So you can see there's still quite a fair bit in it. So it would be quite a large cheesecake if you're making the whole thing. And that is it then. So then you place that in the oven 200 degrees for around about an hour until it kind of looks a little bit burnt. So what the burnt basket cheesecake is like caramelizing it. So it kind of burns. It's not really burnt, but it's like caramelized around the outside and that forms a bit of a crust. And then that, forms a crust, and then you've got like a custardy kind of cheesecake to eat in the meantime. So how are you going, Jess? Are you just about done with everything?
Yeah, mine just have a couple more minutes in the oven, I think, and then they're nearly done. All
right, well, I'll just grab everything out in 2 seconds, guys. I'm just going to wipe up my mess. I will show you the finished product at all of mine. Just grab my pen, so that's cool. All right, so here are my profiteroles. They puffed up beautifully. So they're only little small ones, but obviously you can make them bigger or smaller or whatever suits you. I'm just going to throw a couple on there for a second. Then like I said I was going to part a couple of Claire-shaped ones while Jess was cooking too. So we just did them little that way. So, sorry, too many things going too many different ways here. So the second half of the the last little bit of the profiterole recipe actually makes a chocolate sauce. I didn't make it on the Zoom tonight because it's really just melting chocolate bits, a bit of butter and milk together. So I didn't feel like you really needed to see us melt that again, considering Jess was already doing some melting in her steps. So I just did that before we started. So obviously you can fill your profiteroles with whatever you like, but I'm going to add so nice and kind of puffed up on the inside there. I'm going to add a little bit of cream to mine. Could fill them with custard too. And then just drizzle them with a bit of the chocolate sauce. So what do you think, guys? Were profiteroles or choux pastry easier than you thought or harder than you thought or what you expected? In the chat box, let me know. So again, there's that beautiful choux pastry there. I feel like it's something that sounds like it's going to be really hard and complicated, but as you can see, is not. Much easier than you thought, Karen. Good. And then I'm just going to drizzle that bit of chocolate on the top. Right, so there are my profiteroles, and then I have my cheesecake. So after that hour or so in the oven, that is that beautiful burnt crust cheesecake. So I will cut a slice so you can see the inside. So it's kind of a custardy type cheesecake. You know what, my husband usually goes to bed for these virtuals and he's sitting right behind the camera waiting for his dessert tonight. So that is that cheesecake. How good does that look? And then obviously we've just got our mousse to finish us off. So I'll just put in the bowl for that. And you can see that consistency. The things I do for you guys to watch these virtuals, I tell you what, guys, is all these amazing desserts that I'm going to have to eat. All right, so that is that Milo mousse then. So you could top that, top that with a bit more mousse, Milo on the top just to kind of pretty it up, and maybe a couple of berries or something could make it look really nice as well. But that is all of those desserts that I've made, guys. So yeah, our profiteroles. Taryn, it's on the recipe community. I'll grab it in 2 seconds and I'll put it in the chat box when I just start showing. Our burnt butter cheesecake and our milo mousse. Any questions about that, pop them in the chat box. Otherwise, we'll head back to Jess and see her couple of finished products there.
All right, so mine are all finished here. So I'll just point the camera down a little bit. So here is the lemon delicious. It's made a huge amount. We'll be eating lemon delicious for days. And these are the lava cakes. So I won't tip one out because I found before that while they're still really hot, then when you tip them out, they just fall apart. But you can eat them straight out of the mold. And as you can see here, it's beautiful melted chocolate in the middle. So they are going to be perfect. And that was, yeah, really simple. So we've got the lava cakes and the lemon delicious all made really, really quickly. But yeah, I'll tip one out later and have the photo up of what it will look like when it sits on your plate.
Amazing. Thanks, Jess. My husband's already, I don't know if you could see his hands getting into it then. Sorry, my daughter's just had a nightmare or something. Yeah, so that's it, guys. As you can see, what 5 amazing desserts in just on an hour tonight, which is incredible. So thank you so much for joining us. Sorry. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it and you've got learned something new. If there's anything you would like to know more about, please either stay on or reach out to us or one of the consultants. As Jess said before, she is on Facebook and Instagram as Thermi Life on the Farm, and I am the Thermo Loving Mum on Facebook and Instagram as well. So we'd love you guys to follow along if you aren't already. And yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Any questions about anything at all, please stay on or sing out. We are more than happy to help you. And hopefully we will see you at our next class one day soon. Thanks, guys.